So I started my morning pretty much just as I always would, except this time I actually wasn't running late. So I had all the time in the world. I drove to the Sandy Springs MARTA station, and some dude struck up a conversation with me about my electric skateboard. It makes a lot of noise, it's super heavy, it's shaped weird, so some people like to talk about it. So I told him it goes about like 20 miles per hour on flat ground. And I remember him specifically mentioning to me, he said, he's like, 20 miles per hour, it's pretty fast. I was like, yeah, like I mean, I could probably get that like on a regular skateboard, but he said if you fall at 20, like you could probably, break a bone or something like that. And it hasn't happened to me yet, but little did I know after boarding the train that I would have another run-in falling off my skateboard. So I got off the train and I had a little extra time to burn. So I went down to the little basement area of Dahlberg Hall. There's some chairs. It's usually pretty quiet. And so today that's where I wanted to go to kill time. I can't take my boosted board down the stairs, so I usually go around the wheelchair ramp. Today people were walking from the parking deck to the wheelchair ramp, so I decided to go a little faster and try to beat them before they made it to the ramp. So I was riding down the wheelchair ramp and pretty much had my vision laser focused on the gap between the people leaving the parking deck and, where I could make it with my boosted board. As I increased the throttle, I realized that I probably wasn't going to make the turn, the bend before the exit of the wheelchair ramp. And that's when my front left wheel clipped the wall, stopped my board, and flew me forward. So after I fell off the board, the first thing to hit the ground was my knees, and then my hand, and then the momentum sent me forward, and then I hit my head. Um, I went inside to go sit down and check out what happened. I noticed that my jeans that weren't ripped before are now ripped, which I was kind of happy about because I usually buy jeans that are pretty distressed, but that's beside the point. Uh, I noticed that my knee was bleeding, like 2 inches down past the hole. My hand was bleeding, and I went and touched the knot, or was expecting to find a knot in my head, and instead was just pulling out pieces of my hair that had been pulled out from the concrete when I had rolled over my head. So I tried to call the University Health Center. They didn't pick up, and I wasn't too thrilled about that. So I got back on the boosted, went to the student center, found out where the clinic is, and rode to the clinic. And that's where I was delighted to find out that the wait was actually very short. And they brought me in. They freaking sprayed me down with saline solution, then put antibiotic ointment on me, and we were fine. They bandaged me up. I got a note from my class, and that's how I was late to class.